What's up, guys? Chris Singleton here, inspirational speaker, former pro ball player, and author. So, guys, I'm honored to be sharing with you all. First, I want to thank Alicia, Ms. Hughes, you guys as principal, as well as Josh Kitchens and all the other leadership that has allowed me to come back for my second year in a row and share with you guys for graduation. Really quickly, I want to share one of my favorite quotes in the world. Being from South Carolina, I always want to serve different schools throughout South Carolina because my favorite speaker, his name is Inky Johnson, and he said, the worst thing a person can be is a public success but a private failure. And so for me, that means, going out to speak to different schools around the nation, but not serving my own hometown, my own home state. And I'm honored to be doing that with you guys today. And so when I think about you guys graduating, I first and foremost want to say congratulations, man. You guys have had to overcome so much over the last couple of years that many people have never had to deal with until it happened to you guys. And it's such a pivotal time in your lives. I want to commend you guys for pushing through and getting there. One of the main messages that I want to share really quickly about is kindness, being kind to one another, pouring into somebody because you never know who needs it. You see, with me in my life, I tragically lost my mom in a racially motivated mass shooting. But the thing that was amazing for me was that people from all over the world were pouring into me, right? Thinking about me, praying for me, all different types of things. And to be honest, guys, that allowed me to overcome so much in my life. Now, if you have a best friend, I always say best friends have the power to save lives because I had best friends pouring into me every single day. And I knew if I was getting down, I had somebody to turn to. And when we talk about just being there for one another, there's one of the best stories in the world. Her name was Lauren Isley. And she said this story and it stuck with me for a while. It's about a kid on the beach. Now, being from South Carolina, we know good and well about the beaches and about hurricanes. And what actually happens is the hurricanes, the waves can get up to like 30, 35 feet. So the story I was listening to, it was about this kid who grew up on the beach and he actually had a house on the beach. And there was a hurricane that came and washed upon the shore and tore up the pier. Right, tore up their house and everything. And the kid and his father were lucky enough to not be home, but they actually went back to their house. And they're sitting there, and they're looking at their house, and they ended up finally standing up and walking along the beach. And when they did that, there was actually thousands of starfish that were out there. What happened was the waves came up and they washed upon the shore, and there was thousands of starfish that just stayed on the beach. And the kid was smart. The kid grew up on the beach, and he said to his father, hey, I'm going to save their lives. Because if they stay outside the water too long, they'll dry up, they'll die, and I want to save them. And so what the kid does is he walks with his father, he picks up a starfish, he tosses it into the water. He's like, yes, I saved his life. He goes a little bit further, he walks a little bit more, he picks up another one, tosses it into the water. He's like, yes, he saved his life. And the father was upset. The father was upset because he looks at his house, he looks at the pier, he looks at everything being devastated, and he looks at his son and he says, what are you doing? He says, there's thousands of starfish out here. You're picking up one at a time. Do you really think what you're doing is making a difference? Now, the kid was respectful, right? Never talked back to his dad. But this time he looked at his dad. He looked back down at the starfish. He picked one more up. He tossed it into the water. He said it saved his life. He told his father, I bet I made a difference to that one. Now, as you guys go out, I know you'll be able to hopefully be very successful. But I want all of you guys to be significant. I want you to have a significant role in people's lives. Not only just impacting them on a day-to-day basis with what you do with your occupations, right, going to college, whatever it may be, I want you guys to be significant. You see, I realize there's a difference between being successful and significant. A lot of times we talk about being successful in life, right, graduating from high school, going to college or going to the military or going to get a job, and we talk about being successful, but we should never forget about being significant. You see, I saw a photo. I once watched this video with Tim Tebow. I absolutely love Tim Tebow. And I heard him talk about this, and it was profound. It was this photo, and they actually call it the little starving girl. Maybe you guys have seen this photo. Maybe you haven't before, but I saw this photo, and it changed my life behind those words, success versus significant. And the story behind the photo, the actual photo was taken by a guy named Kevin Carter, and he won an award called the Pulitzer Prize for it. But what happened was, in the photo, there's a little girl. Actually, it's a little boy, but they call it a girl because the kid is he's so frail. There's no meat on his bones, and he's exhausted. And so what happens is, here you see the picture of this little one basically bent over because they're so exhausted on their way to the UN station in Sudan to get some food. And so you have this buzzard not even 20 yards away from him, there's a buzzard that is sitting there waiting for the kid to be his prey. He's sitting there not even 15 yards, 20 yards away from him, and he's sitting there about to strike this kid. Now, what does Kevin Carter do? He does his job, right? He snaps a photo. He's a photographer. That's what he does. He's a journalist. So he takes a photo. Instead of shooing away the bird, the buzzard, to not take that kid's life, he just sits there, takes a photo, and you know what he does? He actually wins an award for that photo. Months go by, not even a year. And what happens is Kevin Carter ends up taking his own life. You see, he won an award called the Pulitzer Prize that every single photographer, every single artist or journalist wants to win. But you see, success is different than being significant. And he couldn't fathom the fact that he sat there and took a photo in a place where he knew he should have been pouring into somebody and saving that life. You see, when I talk about us going out, right after you've graduated, I want us all to be successful. I want us to be able to accomplish our dreams. But the one thing I don't want us to forget is to be significant. So guys, go out, serve people before you do things for yourself. Because in realizing when you serve people, you never know whose day or whose life you may be impacting doing so. But if you guys go out, hopefully you'll help me in my mission of ending racism. But most importantly, you'll not only be successful, but you'll be significant. The last thing I'll share with you guys is a quote from my favorite person in the world, Jackie Robinson. Now, Jackie Robinson was the first person to integrate sports. It was all white. Jackie Robinson came in, boom, the first black player to play in the MLB. The reason why I love this quote is because I have a hero named Tywanza Sanders who shared this quote the same day he was taken away, like my mom was in our church. But the quote was profound because Tywanza didn't want to just be successful. He wanted to be significant. Ended up saving lives the same day that my mother was in the church. You see, he saved his mother's life. He saved his little cousin's life who was 8 years old. And he posted this quote on his Instagram the same day he was taken away. The quote from Jackie Robinson is short and sweet, but I want you guys to hear it. I want you guys to write it down, put it on a sticky note somewhere, maybe put it in your phone notes as you go about your everyday lives after you've graduated. The quote is, "One life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives." Again, one life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. So hopefully today, by me sharing my heart with you guys, I've made an impact in your life. And you guys go out and you be successful, but make sure you're significant. If you do that, I know for sure you'll have an impact on me and in my life. Thank you guys so much. Congrats again, and I can't wait to see you guys be significant.